Hey, what's up everybody? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. Time for another quick video. This is going to be part one of my Phoenix digs. Last week I was in Phoenix. I met up with Scott Waters and his wife Lori the first night with my wife. We went out to dinner, had a good time. The next morning I met up with Scott and with Randy Trog from his videos. And we spent the day digging and found some cool stuff. The stuff I'm going to show right here is not from that day. I was taking a plane and I didn't want my suitcase to get too heavy because it was already borderline, which ended up happening anyway. So I asked Scott to take the albums that I bought that day with him and mail them to me. So those should be coming pretty soon. But this will be part one. I went out a couple days after that. One of the big shops that we wanted to go to was closed on Mondays, and that was the day we went out. So I hit that shop. I hit 3 or 4 Zias, and I hit another record store and found some cool stuff, and still ended up weighing down my suitcase. But let's just kind of jump in. We'll start off. These first 4 albums were from one of the Zias that I went to. I was really happy to see a couple of these. They're albums that I've really been looking for and haven't been able to find. And that was just kind of the way this whole trip went. I found some really cool stuff. I'm from Phoenix. Phoenix has always been a hard rock and heavy metal town. A lot of people don't know that. They've always had really good music stores. A couple of the music stores have been there for years and years. And the Zia chains are amazing. The Zia chains aren't as good as they used to be now that they've gotten into books and movies. When I was younger, it was all CDs and records. And they always had amazing selections. And concert shirts, band shirts. But it was really cool to go there and dig. I hit just about every record store I could think of in town. I haven't cleaned these yet or listened to them. I wanted to do the video before I forgot where I bought the stuff. Not that it really matters, but this first one was one of the Zias in Tempe that I went to. This first one is a band I talk about all the time. I love everything that they've released, from their early hardcore punk stuff to the stuff that they're releasing today, which is kind of a mix of heavy metal, thrash, US power metal. This is a real experimental time for the band. There was about a 3-album period where they were messing with some industrial sounds. There was some heavy metal, there was some thrash, they were just kind of really experimenting. And this was really the album that brought them into the limelight. But this is Cleansing from Prong. I've wanted this on vinyl for so long. Sorry about that, a warning came up. This is another one that upsets me though. You know, this was done by Legacy, who does amazing work, but you can see they just blew up the picture from a CD. I mean, it looks terrible, which makes no sense because this was released on vinyl. They could have done a scan of the vinyl and it would have looked better. Regardless, really happy to finally have this. This is one of the only Prong albums through the 90s that I didn't have on vinyl. I've got all their early stuff on vinyl and CD, and it's on this crystal clear vinyl, which I think is cool. So we got a little bit of Prong there. Next up, this is one, I didn't hear about this until about 2 months after it came out. And this, I really wanted it, but everywhere I looked online, they wanted like 40, 50. I've seen it even for 60 bucks, and I found it at Zia for $20. This is Above the Remains. It's an official bootleg, live in Germany, '89. Previously unreleased live album from the 1989 Beneath the Remains tour. All of you that have been watching me know I'm a huge Sepultura fan, a huge Max and Igor era Sepultura fan. I saw them a number of times during that era. This is on translucent red vinyl. When I saw this, though, I had to have it. And I got to put it out to Rhino, who's doing the whole Rocktober thing. They've been releasing some amazing stuff, and all of it that I've bought has sounded really good. It's been going on for 3 or 4 years now, and every year they've been killing it. So finally got that in the collection. This next one, it's an album I've known about for years. I had it on cassette years ago. It's got some ringware. I usually don't buy stuff in this condition, but it turned out to be a a white label promo, and the vinyl looks absolutely mint. And for $9, I couldn't pass it up. This is First Visit from Rogue Mail. So for $9, it was a cool pickup. It was definitely worth it. And then there you go. There's the famous white Electra label. Next up, I haven't heard this album. I do have the band's first album on CD. It's in mint condition though, still in the shrink. But this is The Kill from Pandemonium. I've always loved that album cover. The terrible artwork of the 70s, or I'm sorry, of the 80s heavy hard rock and heavy metal. So it's funny, I was just talking about this album with a good friend of mine, and I'll get into why. These next few, as well as a bunch of singles I bought at the Record Room. So the Record Room was the store that Scott, I, and Trog wanted to go into. So one of the guys from the Record Room, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, used to be a member of the VC Facebook page. He was one of the guys that helped start that. He's gotten away from doing videos, and he doesn't work at the Record Room anymore. Record Room moved from Scottsdale to, I think they're in Phoenix proper now. And he didn't move there with them, but he worked there for years and did a lot of videos from the Record Room. But I found some cool stuff, and that was one where Scott and Randy were both saying they found a lot of cool stuff, a lot of hidden gems in there. I dug through everything that they had. One of the things I found was a consignment that I got for really cheap. I was really shocked. It was a cool place though. So first up is Sacred Child. So this is an album that if you've been in the vinyl community for a long time, you see it pop up from time to time. It's not usually an expensive album, and I paid $5 for it. It's still in the shrink. It's in mint condition, but really, what really grabbed me, and I would have bought it for the $5 anyway. It's still got the promo kit in it. So here you go, Sacred Child on Target Records. It's not a promo copy per se, but very cool. And you know, this stuff gets me every time. I love this stuff. Let's see, and it's also got the photo in here, which is very cool. A really nice glossy of the band. Now, something cool about the band that most of you probably don't know. So the singer there, Astrid Young, is actually Neil Young's sister. And actually, after this band didn't end up going anywhere for her, she became a backup singer for her brother, and she's been on 5 or 6 of his albums as well, doing backup vocals, which is very cool also. But, you know, anytime I see these albums with these promo kits, man, I snatch them up. And for $5, I couldn't pass up on. And it is really good melodic hard rock. I've always kind of dug this band. Next up, a little bit of new wave of British heavy metal. This is one that's been on my want list for years, and every time I find it, it's either trash or it's just way overpriced. It does have a little bit of ring wear, which is fine. But, man, I couldn't grab this fast enough. This is White Spirit from 1980. And you may not recognize him here, but this is, I don't know the right way to, I don't know if he says Yannick or Janik. I've always said Janik Gers. Went on to play with Iron Maiden and, I don't remember if it was Fear of the Dark. I want to say it was about Fear of the Dark time frame, and he's still with them now. But just an amazing guitar player. And man, I paid $12 for this. You could still see the price tag there. Man, I was blown away that they had this for that cheap. This was actually a consignment. They have a little consignment area where people can, and there were a lot of really cool albums in that consignment area with this, but most of them were just in really bad condition. But this is a cool one. This was released by MCA for Neat Records. You can see the Neat logo there on the top, along with the White Spirit logo. Really stoked to finally have this though. And I can't wait to get this one cleaned up and give it a spin. And actually the insert was in here as well. So very cool. The last LP that I bought from the record room was another one, man. I tried so hard to find this. This is one that Greeno and LJ and a few other people really talked up. And by the time I got around to having the money to look for it, I just couldn't find it anywhere. The band split up after this album. One of the women from the band went on to start the band Lucifer, but this is the Oath. And this thing is just in mint condition, 24 bucks, which is about what it was new. I can't remember what the vinyl is. Yeah, and it's on this purple vinyl. But man, I'm really happy to finally have this in the collection again. This is another one I can't wait to clean up and give a spin. I also found a bunch of singles, and I was really blown away by the selection. There was a lot of stuff I left too, just because of condition or price. But man, I found some really cool stuff, especially from this first band. They had another 5 or 6 singles from this band, but they were just trash. So first we got Rainbow, Can't Happen Here, with the Jealous Lover B-side. These are from Difficult to Cure, UK pressing, but that was $3. Also from Rainbow, LA Connection and Lady of the Lake from Long Live Rock and Roll. This one's a French pressing. Again, $3. Next up, Since You've Been Gone. The B-side is Bad Girls. These are from Down to Earth. Again, $3. Love it. Next one, this is one I was really happy to see because I just never see, actually, and I won't even say it. I just never see their stuff in the wild. But this is Susie Hold On from Saxon. And the B-side is Judgment Day. Let's see. Susie Hold On was from Wheels of Steel. And the Judgment Day is a live version, but very cool. I believe that was a UK as well, and that's on Carrere. Got the cool Carrere label. Does it say? It may have been a US pressing, but I don't remember. Yeah, it doesn't say. Regardless. Next up, this is one that I just missed out on. I remember when it came out, and when I tried to buy it, it was already sold out. But this is Native Blood and Sangre Nativa from Testament. And was this, I'm trying to think what album this was off of. That doesn't say. Maybe these were just on. No, I'm pretty sure Native Blood was on. It doesn't matter. Testament. And then these last three, there's not many bands that I buy bootlegs of. And I'm not talking about the soundboard recordings because I love the soundboard recordings. But I'm just saying proper bootlegs. One of the bands that I do buy them for is the Cramps. Some of the bootlegs that are out there for the Cramps are so cool. And whereas a lot of other bootleggers are more counterfeiters, they'll make counterfeits of the old punk 7 inches. The guys that did the Cramps stuff, it was all specific to the Cramps. It's a band that I love. Eventually I'm going to do a video because I've got a really cool Cramps collection with some really rare stuff. But so I'm just going to go through these kind of quick. But this is sometimes good guys don't wear white, and 5 years ahead of my time. The Cramps, and these were $9, $10 a piece. And they're all really nicely done. Just, man, I love the artwork. This one is Human Fly, and I don't even know. Here is the 7-inch, and it's got a really cool fold-out poster that is just amazing. Oh, Voodoo Idols, that's what it is. Check that out. Man, I love that. And the Cramps are just, they're such an important band that unfortunately don't get a whole lot of credit. There's multiple genres of music that wouldn't be what they are today without this band. They basically created them. And then this last one is a bunch of their early release. It says Sub Pop, but it's not. It's a bootleg. But you got Teenage Werewolf, Sunglasses After Dark, What's Behind the Mask, and I'm Cramped. And they're a really good picture. And then some, again, some really cool artwork on the back there. So that was it from the record room. So I was really happy with what I found there. And then last but not least, let's see. This was another Zia in Phoenix. This particular Zia location was really weird. Most of the stuff was way overpriced. They had a really good selection. They had some really, really rare stuff. And it was just all way too much. And then I found this in the bin of overpriced stuff, and this was way underpriced, I thought. I just still can't believe, this was definitely the score of the trip. I still can't believe I found this. But this is Nugent Double Live Gonzo Japanese pressing. It looks like there's ringware, there's not. This thing is stone mint. It looks beautiful. The vinyl looks unplayed. Man, I could not believe it when I saw this. And then I saw the price was only $24.99, and I couldn't grab this fast enough. Holy crap. Definitely the score of the trip. Scott wasn't real happy about me for finding this one. That was a cool one. So that was the only thing I bought at that Zia. Like I said, everything was overpriced there. They didn't have a huge record selection. And then this last one is, I visited this place the night before we left. I only have like 45 minutes, so I was able to get through the metal section and some of the singles. This was like a singles clearance section. I didn't get to go through the actual 7-inch area because I had to meet the rest of my family for dinner, and we had a reservation. So I didn't find a whole lot in the 12 inches except for this. And it's funny, so they had this used copy for $19.99 and then the new copy for $26.99. The funny thing about this one being $19.99 is this is the signed copy that you could buy directly from the band. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but it's signed by the whole band. And again, that was $19.99. And I've talked about this album. I really dig Battle Beats. Actually, I believe they just had a new album come out this year. This is a band I just kind of got into, and they definitely have a sound that's their own, and I really, really dig it. So that was a cool find. And then the two singles I found were Honestly by Stryper, and pretty much perfect condition for the whopping price of 99 cents. And then last but not least, something else that's signed. This is Burning It Down from Steve Earle and the Dukes. And every copy of this is signed and hand numbered by Steve Earle. And these go for 25 bucks or so all the time. And this was $3.99 in their clearance bin. So again, I thought that, and I don't remember if this was this may have been a Record Store Day from 2013. Yeah, it is right here. This special release was manufactured in support of independent music stores everywhere. So early on, 2013, a few years after Record Store Day started, but before it kind of turned into the madness that it is today. But still very cool. I think this one's on red vinyl. This was a limited to 1,000. So there you go. That is the part 1 of the Phoenix dig. Like I said, when I get that stuff from Scott, and whenever he gets to it, there's no hurry. Scott, if you're watching this, I'm not asking you to send that out today. I don't even know if you did. But once he sends that stuff out, I'll do another video and show you guys the rest of what we got. He got some cool stuff too, so hopefully, and I'm sure he will, hopefully he does a video showing that stuff too. But take care, VC. I'll see you soon.